Fridays, you guys. Not only because it's the weekend, but because I feel like I have a lot more time to spend with you guys and make these videos, and that makes me happy. Today we're gonna go over first of many to come, hopefully, on pediatric milestones, and I'm gonna start with scissor skills. And I know you guys have been asking me for these videos for a long time, so I'm excited to finally start, and I'm gonna try my best to make it as easy and fun for you guys as possible, because I know this is really hard, and unlike all the other videos that I've made so far, I will be honest and say that this one particular content area is actually very difficult to conceptualize because it's so random. And I think that's what makes it so hard for us to learn and memorize this content area, because there are just random numbers and a lot of bullet points under each age group, right? So how do we tell them apart? How do we keep them separate? How do you tackle this area? Well, with many things, one step at a time. And when it's impossible to conceptualize, seemingly impossible, I think what we need to do is get creative and make the learning material memorable, so that we can build association with certain ages and have something that we can remember by. We have to talk about it a lot, and there has to be some sort of repetition involved, because without repetition of all this random content, I think it'll be really hard to remember it all. So let's get started, and before I talk about the age ranges, I'm going to talk about the developmental sequence first. I think this is important not just for scissor skills, but when you're learning any milestones, whether it's grasping, feeding, toileting, learn the sequence first and then put the ages after, because I think that makes it a little bit easier to learn. Okay? All right, so where does this start with scissor skills? Well, children will first take interest. So they'll look at this object and they'll say, what is it? What does it do? So interest, there's a spark, if you will, okay? And then they take a hold of the object and they manipulate it. And after that, they learn that it opens, ooh, and closes, So they learn how to open and close, and once they've learned how to open and close, what happens? They start going at it and they start snipping away, but it's random. There's no controlled motion. It's just random snipping. Okay, and in order for them to learn how to control the motion, they need to first learn how to manipulate and coordinate in forward motion as well as lateral direction. And after they've learned how to do that, they could cut along a forward line. And after they learn how to cut forward on a straight line, they can learn how to cut circles followed by square, so simple geometric shapes. And then after simple geometric shapes, they can do simple figures, and after simple figures they can do complex figures, and after complex figures they can cut on non-paper like fabric. So that's the last one. So it starts with interest, saying what is this, all the way to cutting complex figures and being able to cut on a non-paper. All right, so let's put the ages, and it starts at age 2. And you know how we like to say terrible twos, because that's when children like to cry a lot and they're developing a sense of self. They're like, no, I don't want this, and I don't know. I actually don't have kids, so I don't know why it's called terrible twos, but terrible twos. Well, I like to call it random twos, because at age 2, they're able to snip, but it's random, right? So snipping randomly with scissors. So from 2 to 3, they have an interest in the object. They learn how to hold and manipulate and open and close, and then they can snip randomly. So cut strips like this. That's age 2 to 3. Okay, so let's move on to 2 and a half. What happens at 2 and a half? Notice here, this is not so pretty. That's because they can cut across a 6-inch piece of paper, but it's still not that controlled at 2.5. It's sort of doesn't look that great. It's not until they get to age 3 that they can cut on a line that is 6 inches long. So I call it the control 3, age control 3, where they can cut on a line 6 inches long. By the time they're 3 and a half, they can cut out a circle, and by the time they're 4 and a half, they can cut out a square and simple figures. Okay? Now, if you don't remember which one comes first, is it circle or is it square? Well, remember that 3 comes before 4, and 3 looks a lot like 2 circles together, right? So 3 and a half is where circles are mastered. Well, not mastered, but where they learn how to cut circles. And 4.5 is where they are able to cut out a square and simple figure shapes. And from 6 years and on, they are able to cut complex figures, shapes. Okay, and after that, of course, they can cut on non-paper like fabric or like hair. Speaking of, do you guys see how like long my hair is here? It's been poking my eye during this entire video, and I need to do something about it. And this is gonna help you remember this and not forget what age they show interest in scissors forever. So take a look at my bangs. You'll notice that if you start here, it's about 1, 2, 3 inches, right? From 2 to 3 inches for 2 to 3 years, I like to think. Is when it gets to be this long, from 2 to 3 inches, I take interest in scissors. I learn how to hold, open and close, so that I can learn to start snipping. Oh my god, did I tell you guys I cut my own bangs? You guys don't know this, huh? So 2 to 3 inches or years, snip, snip. Okay? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so much better. It was poking my eye the whole time. Oh, now I can see. Okay, so did you guys get that? If you ever forget, when children take interest in scissors, remember that I take interest in scissors when my hair gets to 2 to 3 inches, equivalent to 2 to 3 years. Okay, and that's when I randomly start snipping away. Oh my goodness, so much better. I can breathe. That was driving me crazy. All right, so that's it for today. I will see you guys again next time.